Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night, depending on what time you are watching this next tutorial from me, Avomance. In the background you can see, look, Jeb door, small modern house, large modern house, and that wooden cottage that I did. The links for those are going to be in the description below, assuming I remember to put them in. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about how you can pretty much build any house, and we are going to build a house I'm going to show you in a second, and we're going to do it freehand. And yeah, I'm saying I'm going to show you in a second, but I haven't built it yet, so the next bit you see will be after we've actually built it. So I hope it goes right, or the next bit won't even be there, so that'll be a little bit of a paradox. Weird, never mind. So we're going to draw something and build something completely freehand, make it up as we go along, and show you how easy it is to do it using some fairly basic building techniques. But we're going to jump forward in time, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is I've actually built next. Now, weird, here we go, over there now. And this is it. I think it came out beautifully. It's got a nice garden there with a pond, a little seating area there to sit down on. It's kind of got an age look using these vines. It's got quite a complicated roof system, a little balcony area there. You've got a farm, obviously, you've got to be able to grow your crops. We've got another little balcony there, which is nice. A back door, some more complicated roofing, and all in all, I think it's come out rather well, and it's got some living space on the inside as well. I think we should go and make it. Let's get on with it now. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to go with it, although you've just seen where I went with it. It's really paradoxical, isn't it? You've seen what I'm going to build, and I haven't yet. Really weird, but I think this is probably the palette that we're going to use. This could be subject to change. We're going to make it up as we go along, but you can see it's very woody with some stone, a little bit of leaves. Fairly basic palette, all things that you can get fairly quickly in survival, and that's really what we're trying to establish here. So let's crack right on with it. So the first thing we're going to do is build a square, and this square is going to be 7 blocks by 7 blocks. I'm using wood. You can use whatever you really want to. This is as much marking out as it is anything else, but we're going to build this 7 by 7, and we're going to essentially create a cube. Not a complete cube, because it's not going to be 7 high, but it's a cube in that it's like a cuboid. So you see the shape there. We're going to put this 4 blocks high. Now you could do it 5, you could even do it 3. I think 4 is about right. 5 for a much bigger build. 3 if you're just doing a fairly small build, perhaps only with one of these boxes, a proper starter home. But I think 4 works really well, because you can build these up all around themselves. And you can see here a 7 by 7 square. It's absolutely perfect. So all we really need to do now is duplicate it in a number of areas. Just add these boxes onto each other sideways until we get a really great pattern on the ground. Something that's not regular and boxy. It's got a little bit of shape to it, making it a little bit interesting. And so when we build out, we've got all these boxes looking really great together. Then simply get your wood and build a 4 high column anywhere where 2 walls intersect. So that could be the outside corners, or it could be the crossroads in the middle, and just do it like I'm doing here. When you've done every post 4 high, select some of them and make them 8 high. We're going to put a second level on this just to make it look a little bit more interesting. But don't just do, all in one block. Make it a little bit wild and wacky, a little bit interesting shape. So when you look at it from the outside, it's got some real character, just like I'm doing here. And once you've done that, connect them all up at the 4 high level. Then just connect up the 8 high pillars too. And this is where you can make it really interesting by making some of those 8 high pillars 12 high. And once you've done that, what you end up is a fantastic frame that you can work with to create a really interesting and exciting build. And yeah, I know it's weird to start with the roof. I know you're thinking, Avo, what about the walls? The walls will come in a minute. We're going to make the roof because it really gives us the structure that we can work with. And a lot of people use a standard A roof. You can combine standard A-frame roofs with maybe some offset roofs, some higher roofs, some flatter roofs, whatever it is you think your build could do with. And again, make it up as you go along. If it's wrong, do it again. It doesn't matter. This is your build. Do it the way you want to. I'm making a slightly taller A-frame on this side. We're going to do some normal standard A-frames on some of the other apexes as well. Gables are whatever you want them to be, but golden rule of roofs is make sure you get them out by one at least to give a little bit of depth. It's all about the depth with a roof. Otherwise your building just doesn't look right. Just watch what I'm doing here. So we have now got a nice looking roof edge using step and cobble, and we want to expand that to put the other gable ends in as well. And you can see you don't have to use the same gable ends, you can use different ones if you want to, and then go up to the next level. Put a second level roof onto your builds. It gives such an amazing extra dimension. I cannot explain to you. If you've never done two separate roofs, one on the ground floor, one on the upper floor, and then maybe one even on another floor on top of that, and connect them all up so they kind of join and merge, they just look fantastic. And you could use wooden steps, you can use these cobble steps or stone slab steps, whatever it is you want to use. Make sure you get the depth in though. If you don't have the depth, it just looks really, really flat. Just follow what I'm doing here and either do it block for block if you want to. It's not meant to be block for block, but do it the way you want. Maybe just fiddle around with it. I'd love to see what it is you do. So what we're doing here is we are filling in all of the roof gaps. We're following along the blocks, making sure they match to give a really nice kind of roof feel. And this is going to merge into each other. And you can see as we build it, two roofs become one roof and they follow lines around corners. It looks amazing. Just watch what I'm doing and see if you copy it, but do it in your own way. What you also might want to try is putting some of the stairs in between the posts, the big wooden posts that you've put up there. So they look a bit weird being inside, but they're going to act as some window trim later on in the build. And if you've done it right, what you end up with is a really complicated looking roof system that was way more easier to build than it looks. Right, now it's time to start the walls. So we're going to put a single row of blocks between our posts. I'm using cobble here and I've left a gap for a door there, and I'm also, when I get a bit further around, going to leave another gap, but they're the only gaps I'm going to leave in this floor right now. We will be taking out some of these blocks very shortly to put some trim in, but for now let's just line the whole thing with some cobble blocks. And once you've got your single row of wall all the way around the outside, get your doors in, but place them from the inside because then you get some really nice depth when you look at it from the outside. Time to put in the second row of the walls, and I would change here to wood to give a little bit more texture on the outside, but leave some gaps so as you can put in some windows. These are going to give some really good depth, and change up the walls when you put the windows in into steps. You'll see exactly what I mean in a moment. And when you've done that second row, make a third row exactly the same, but put upside down steps where the glass is. It gives really good depth. And you remember those gaps where we put steps between those posts? This is where you put the glass in. Makes awesome windows, really good texture. Now let's venture inside. We need to work out where we're going to put some internal walls. You don't have to have many, just 1 or 2 is plenty, and then you can work out exactly where you're going to put your steps up. This is a 2-story house or even a 3-story house that you're building right now. You're going to need a really great set of stairs. See how I'm doing it. And once you've got those steps in, you can put your floor in for the second floor. This can be anything you want. I recommend that you continue the theme of the inside of the house with the same materials, but maybe make a mezzanine level, maybe make it completely covering, maybe put holes in it, put glass in it. I don't care. Do something amazing with your build. This is your build. You make it up. It is awesome. Maybe you've got a couple of levels that don't quite meet. Well, slabs are amazing to create a really gentle step-in area to go up just 1 or 2 blocks. It's really effective and it looks as though it is meant to be there, absolutely, even if you did it by mistake. Now if we go back outside and you look at one of your gable ends, you'll probably find that they look just a little bit uneven. You can see where you've got your blocks coming out, which is absolutely right, and then you've got square blocks inside. It doesn't look entirely tidy, so use some upside down stairs to give that nice rigid external roof feeling. It's really worth the extra 5 minutes it takes to make it like that. See how I'm doing it? So once you've created some really nice gable end edging, you need to do something in the middle. Now you can do this with blocks and kind of clays and all kinds of things, but I think for this I want to give it a bit of an airy feel, almost like a Barney feel if you like, and make it look just a little bit edgy and rustic. So we're going to use some fences inside our gable ends. I think it works really well. If you've got any big gaps that you maybe hadn't planned on, make it into a window. You can never have too many windows. Now we've already got a really great and interesting footprint on this build, but I want to come out just a little bit on this second floor to create like a balcony over the entrance. It just looks that little bit more classy, makes it a little bit more interesting and adds another dimension to the build. So let's get on with that. Make sure you use some fence posts to support that balcony. The laws of physics have got to be obeyed for a build to look right. And we want to get up to that third floor lookout belfry level, and the most economical way of doing that without taking up too much floor space is to use a ladder. So let's build the way up there now. And why not stick another small balcony at the other end just to give it another little bit of interest? I think it's a nice idea. Let's see what it looks like. It's a nice and simple bit. Let's fill in this floor. We don't want grass on the inside. Now we're going to give the outside just a little bit more texture, and we can do this using fence posts going up the wooden beams that we've created for our walls on the first floor. It makes a really effective, I mean, maybe it's a drain pipe, maybe it's just a little bit of guttering, or maybe it's a trellis, but it looks good, gives depth, gives texture, and it adds another dimension to the build. So let's get on with it. Then we're going to use wooden trapdoors right next to the windows. They make brilliant shutters for a rustic house. Let's make it a little bit more rustic by putting some flowers in, and then we're going to decorate around the outside using gravel. I love gravel, you know I love gravel, I use it in loads of my builds and my tutorials. And we're going to edge all the way around the house using it to also create a little opening pathway up to the doors. It's farming time, so go to the kind of rectangle area that your back door backs out onto and create a rectangle using the gravel, and then we're going to create our farm fields right in the middle by digging out some water holes and making sure that we go around with a hoe with just enough to have the gravel edge, then the grass edge, and then the fields inside. It's going to make for a very attractive field, and it's not going to overwhelm the house at all. And now's the bit where you just get to go wild and make things up as you go along. We're going to make a nice kind of wild garden. It's going to be partly kept, partly wild. It's going to have a pond, and it's going to look really, really beautiful and very natural. Natural is what we're trying to go for here. So make a pond hole that is, I don't know, just kind of random. Just cut holes out of the ground and make it random. Make it a decent size. Don't make it too small, because if it's too small, it will just look really silly. And make sure that when you fill it with water, you make it completely still. And then edge it with cobble. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, cobble seems to edge a pond really beautifully. I like the effect it gives. It's almost like we've almost slabbed it, but haven't. And then slap in some lily pads, because let's face it, wild ponds have lilies in them. Get some ferns in there. Wild gardens really need ferns. I think it makes it really effective, and the random placement of the ferns makes it look like a really natural garden. And let's get a little kind of bench in there. You can use trapdoors at the side of the bench to make it look like arms and steps for the actual bench itself, and then just go mad, go potty, edge it round with some gravel and make it look really nice and natural. Do your worst. There's nothing wrong here. This is exactly how you want it. Once you've stuck all your plants in and your ponds there, edge it round with a bit of fence just to make it just that little bit more private, and you start to get a really nice garden. Then take a look. Have you got enough flowers in there? Think about it. I don't know, maybe you even want to slap a tree in there. And now we can make it look even more rustic just by putting some vines around the outside, making it look very natural and a little bit aged, very, very rustic. And these vines, if they're given the opportunity, will grow down and they'll naturally age the house over time, which is what time should do, right? So let's see where we put these vines. And that is the outside of our rustic house done really beautifully. The inside is up to you. You can put down some carpet, you can do these sea lanterns with banners for some lighting, really effective. Bring out your enchantment table. Those 7x7 boxes work really well for an enchantment table. Get any kind of resources in here you want. It's up to you. I've left it really bare here with minimal inspiration, just so you can decide what it is you want to do yourself. I'm so pleased with this build. It is looking brilliant. And we've done it. I really, really hope you enjoyed that build. I really enjoyed making it. I had no idea where it was going to go, but I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out. If you've enjoyed it, please do make sure you hit that like button. I don't know you like it. unless you hit the like button. Make sure you hit that like button, share it with your friends, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think of the build, what I could have done better, what your ideas for it might be. And if you got me on Twitter, hit me up on Twitter with a picture of your version of this that's even better. I really look forward to seeing it. Make sure you hit that sub button for more really great content, and I'll see you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.